They will send them and they will be the one to announce it first. They will send them and they will be the one. Like, let it make sense to me that just like that, no emergency was rang, nothing. You just decide to send National Guard to DC. I don't know if a lot of you have literally heard this particular news, but if you're just watching it here, let me know as well. Just like that. That's the scary part. Because if there was no intention towards something, I don't know if someone is getting my point. Why will you just deploy National Guard, boom, to a particular location where we have places that they have a lot of crimes that is being committed that you should look forward to? Tell me that something is not wrong. Tell me that something is not fishy in all of this nonsense. And you know the annoying part is when it happened, the messenger himself posted it first. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And credit belongs to the original creator of every single clips and stitches we have in today's episode. With that being said, let's dive right into this video. Watch this video and let me know what your take is.
National Guardsmen that are occupying the city of DC were shot and are in critical condition. Earlier reports say they engaged in gunfire with the suspected shooter prior to being shot. The suspected shooter is in custody and was taken away on a stretcher. Again, these are early reports. Now, this shooting allegedly sparked lockdowns of the White House and other nearby buildings. This is a developing story, and I will do my best to keep you updated as more information becomes.
The two National Guardsmen that were shot earlier in D.C. that were from the state of West Virginia unfortunately have passed from the injuries that they had received during that shooting. And I am in peace, love, and good vibes. And I am wishing you, I don't know who you are, but to you all, I hope I'm sending you a hug about your family members. That's all I can say. As always, I'm sending peace, love, good vibes.
On today's episode of In Case You Missed It, guys, two National Guardsmen from West Virginia were injured today in a shooting that occurred near the White House. Now, to me, this is roughly like 2 blocks from the White House, but they're stating that the National Guardsmen, they were armed and the suspect was shot as well. They're not sure who shot this suspect. I'm just glad the suspect was shot at this point. But guys, The suspect was taken into custody. They did brief the president on this. He's currently in Florida for the holidays, I believe, but he was briefed, and according to one of his posts on social media, he stated that whoever did this is going to pay a very steep price. Now, at this time, they're believing this was a more targeted attack. There are no more shooters at this time. They're believing that this person acted alone. So if any more details come out about this, guys, I will drop that in the comment section here on TikTok. Do not forget to like, follow, and share for more. And
according to the West Virginia governor and multiple news outlets, the 2 guardsmen that were shot earlier today have succumbed to their injuries. The suspect survived and is now in custody with non-life-threatening wounds. Early reports from people close to the investigation say that the 2 guard members were specifically targeted, and the suspect had no ID and is refusing to cooperate with investigators. Officials also say there was no sign that the White House itself was a target, just that it happened horrifyingly close by. Look, these were National Guard troops from West Virginia. They were doing their job on U.S. soil, guarding our capital, and they were hunted down by some self-righteous buffoon. As of now, we don't know the motive, but we can assume this has something to do with the deployment of the National Guard in Washington, D.C., and some lunatic probably thinking that he can do something about it. These Guard members weren't in some active combat zone. They were right here on U.S. soil. This is exactly what's wrong with this country. We have some crazed lunatics out there thinking that they can be above the law and nothing can touch them. And when the law comes cracking down on them, they think they can take things into their own hands. This is a direct result of our lawmakers pushing this agenda that Trump is somehow a danger to society. DC is now a safer place because of Trump's moves, but that doesn't mean that there aren't some deranged criminals out there that think that they can do whatever they want. After this, Trump should crack down even harder on DC because something like this is inexcusable. These active duty members should be safe in the country they live in, the country they serve, the country they protect. But unfortunately, we live in a society where now we have 2 families that are never going to see their sons again. How broken does our system have to be where our National Guard members are patrolling our own cities like they're foreign deployment, and even that isn't enough to keep them safe? Politicians will put their thoughts and prayer statements, they'll hold press conferences, read a script, and then go right back to doing nothing while the streets that our soldiers are standing on get more dangerous every year. Something's got to change, yo. And I'm glad we finally have a president willing to step up, but it seems like he needs to do even more to keep our streets safe.
Massive, crazy breaking news. There was a shooting in front of the White House, and 2 National Guards have got shot. Now, we don't know who's responsible. We don't know who did it. We don't really know the full details. We just know, I heard that it's graphic. Sidewalks are being shut down, and this happened right next to the White House. 2 National Guards have been shot. Breaking exclusive news. We don't know the reasons. We don't know the motive. We don't know anything. This just got out like 10 minutes ago, and I jumped right on TikTok to tell you guys that. So, yeah, this story is going to be a big story. It's probably going to be one of the biggest stories in a little while, but this is interesting to know, like, what the fuck is going on? Who did this? National Guards? Really?
This is all I got from this video, and firstly I am going to say everyone really be very careful if you are around where this thing happened, because same place you could hear that people that look like me were unalive that side and nobody is saying anything, right? And you know when something like this happens, what happens? They use this opportunity to look for a way to get to people that look like me. I know what I am saying. I am not trying to exaggerate or trying to stir problems or divert attention. But this is what you and I know that has been happening. So stay put wherever you are. Be very careful. Stay home. I hope you have a great holiday, because the holiday already has kicked start in United States. And I am very sure that today, this evening, tomorrow till weekend, next week, it's really going to be a good time with family, friends, loved ones, and all of that. So why doing that? Please, in case, this is in case your family is not complete, especially the younger ones. Maybe like, you live far away from your children, your family, and all that. Keep in touch with them, especially if they live around where this thing happening. The person that did this is from the Middle East, right? And it got nothing to do with people that look like me. But they will always look for a way to, you know what I am saying already. So please, I thought I should bring this here so you all would be very much aware that 2 National Guards were unalive in DC. Now, let me tell us something. Sometimes the government cause problems for themselves. I said what I said because, like Sister Nene talked about, she said that at the place that the National Guards were deployed, that their crimes aren't happening there, right? And now you heard what Pete Hegseth has said, that they are going to deploy 500. When there are too much presence of the National Guards in a particular place, it causes tension, chaos, and all that. People will start probably living in fear, or you won't, people might, I don't know, but I am saying, because if with their presence, if how many Black men could be unalive and nobody has said anything, or they've not been accounted for. I know what I am saying. So please enjoy, happy holiday. Enjoy yourself and make sure that you have your family all together. Peradventure you do not have all your family together. Make sure they are very much aware if you live where this happened. I appreciate you all. Have a beautiful holiday. Bye for now.
An hour ago have not made it. They both have died on the table, fighting for their lives. Now, when it comes to the suspect, well, he has been arrested. So I think he's going to make it through. I'm not too sure. But the person I blame is at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And baby, he's not even there. He's at Mar-a-Lago having golf sessions. Yes, he deployed the National Guard into Washington, D.C. when Washington, D.C. did not call for them. Okay, let me make something very clear. Washington, D.C. was not a high crime rate. Okay. And where these National Guard members were hit was in front of the White House, near the White House, where there is rarely any crime. Want to know why? Because it's high security. Wigs R Us is the reason why these National Guard members lost their life. He is the direct reason. And he's going to try to spin it every which way to get his ass out of the limelight. But it is his fault. They should have never been there in the first place. National Guard members are not there to patrol citizens as they live their day-to-day lives. They are there for crisis moments. And last time I checked, DC was not in a crisis.
We have breaking news. 2 members of the National Guard were just shot near the White House. We have no idea if they're okay. We really don't have any other details. This literally just happened. The unfortunate truth about the political atmosphere we are living in is that it creates such tense and heightened emotions that these types of incidents happen constantly. People really feel that they are fighting for their lives. And in many cases, that is the truth. They are fighting for their lives. We have lost people who were in ICE detention. They have been killed. And obviously at this time, we don't know who did this. We don't know why. But I think it is also important to say that people who have been MAGA for a decade now feel very betrayed by this administration right now, because they were promised lower prices, a lower cost of living, and instead very much the opposite has occurred. And so while I do not know who did this or why, I do know that we are living in a country full of furious and terrified individuals. And that is not safe for anyone. It's not.
A Middle Eastern man, pew pew 2 National Guards. And that happened to happen right after everyone was talking about the Epstein files. And the president giving the former president, Bill Clinton, the Gawk 9000 with the extendo clip. You can't write a better script than that.
News earlier saying that the National Guardsmen that were shot in Washington, D.C. had passed away came from West Virginia's governor. The same governor who sent them out here to begin with. And I don't think it was some random mistake that he put this messaging out there. Because while everybody's in an uproar about these 2 National Guardsmen that were shot in D.C., there's less uproar that in a matter of a 4-day span, federal agents and MPD killed 3 black men in D.C. I repeat, 3 black men in a span of 4 days were killed in D.C. by federal agents and MPD. And the world did not stop. In addition to that, a judge had already ruled that it was unlawful for Trump to send the National Guard to D.C. in the first place. And the National Guard was due to leave on December 11th. And it just so happens the day before a national holiday, 2 National Guardsmen are randomly just targeted in the district, just a stone's throw away from the White House. Which now Hegseth is saying that the Trump administration is going to deploy 500 more National Guard troops to D.C. So again, my message stands that if you are in D.C. or if you are traveling to D.C. between this evening and tomorrow, keep your head on a swivel and stay out the way, because this is all very much intentional.
The National Guard are bait. They were always supposed to be bait. At least, according to this administration, which is why I think this DC shooting should be a moment of very serious reckoning with that fact for members of the National Guard, as well as, by the way, members of ICE, law enforcement agencies, the armed forces. You are tools of provocation. We talk a lot about how this administration is very clearly trying to provoke unrest and the harm that comes to those who are targeted. But we don't talk enough about those who are being used to do the targeting. You are expendable to them. They are using you to provoke. And yes, I mean you too, if you're involved in the boat attacks or anything like that. Though I do suspect some ICE officers are well aware of this. Otherwise, why would they be spending so much time going after nonviolent non-criminals as opposed to the ones that they're probably more scared of? And just in case you have no idea what I'm talking about, 2 National Guard members in DC were reportedly shot today. While it was first reported that they had lost their lives, apparently they are actually in critical condition. And while many of us condemn this in no uncertain terms, we're also completely unsurprised. This was their goal. Mind you, the suspect has already been apprehended, and according to officials on the ground, it was a lone wolf attack. So what is the purpose of 500 more National Guard troops in DC? You contradict yourselves. You know that your purpose to this administration is not to make this country safer. It is to bait this country. And they don't care what happens to you in that process. Actually, that's not quite true, though, is it? They only care about how useful you are to them. And if you're more useful to them when you're injured or, God forbid, dead, that's what they want. What happened today did not need to happen. And it is not those National Guard members' fault that they were shot today, but it is Trump's.
Do me a favor. Please stop what you're doing and pay attention. This is a huge deal. It's being reported that 2 National Guardsmen are in critical condition after being shot in D.C. They're saying it happened outside or around the area of the White House. There are more than a few people claiming to have pictures. They are making their way around Twitter. They are graphic. It has people questioning the yet to be confirmed condition of those 2 soldiers. But again, this is a huge deal. We've been seeing escalation after escalation against American citizens and the American Constitution since this administration took office in January. You want to keep your eye on this story because there are 1,000 ways the government can react to something like this. I will be following the story, as unfortunately it is very likely that there is more to come out of this headline. I'm not here to make any early predictions. I don't have any side theories. I'm literally just sitting here with y'all trying to see what's about to happen because it could be very, very serious. I'm hoping for the best for those 2 guardsmen because at the end of the day, like, the National Guard, people that join the National Guard are not like the rich oligarchs. Yes, they're carrying out these orders. Hopefully they're not unlawful. Hopefully they understood that they had the right to not follow any unlawful orders. I hope that wasn't what we're going to hear. But yeah, I hope it's nothing like that because just truth be told, these are just regular people that they sent out to D.C. You know what I mean? You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that there's something crazy like that happened to someone just because you wanted to get your college paid for. You know what I'm saying? Unlawful orders aside, because I'm not going to assume that that's what happened here. There's just 2 kids who were trying to get their college paid for. It's a crazy situation this administration puts everybody involved in.
While everyone else is blaming the left or blaming the right for this incident in D.C., is anyone out there concerned about the fact that we had an excess of protection there and troops on the ground and this still happened? Is that not alarming? Is that not alarming to anyone else? I get it, point fingers, whatever. Holy shit, this should be alarming. I feel like we should care about this. Obviously, yes, the loss of lives, it's terrible. It's a tragic situation. It's horrible. But I also feel like it definitely highlights weak points in our country. It literally was in DC.
You are in DC or have plans to travel to DC between tonight and tomorrow, please be careful. It has been reported by various organizations and news outlets that 2 National Guardsmen have been shot. And I just saw on Threads that journalist Phil Lewis of HuffPost reported that they both died. As of right now, they do say that they have the suspect in custody. Now, what I will say is I don't think that this is some random occurrence. It was ordered that the National Guard will be removed from DC by December 11th. And then over the past 2 weeks, 3 Black men have been killed by federal agents and MPD within the span of 4 days. And there's also a major holiday tomorrow. If you can avoid the downtown area of DC, please do so. Apparently, this happened just blocks away from the White House between 17th and I Street near Farragut West. I cannot tell anyone how to live their life, but I will say, Black people, my people, these folks are always looking for a reason. So if you are encountering MPD, the National Guards, or federal agents, please keep your head on a swivel and do what you need to do to stay alive and get home.
Active duty members of the National Guard were just shot and killed in Washington, D.C. And if you are Black and you live in a city with a large Black population, this is going to be used to commit violence against you. I have not seen a second of Fox News today, but I guarantee you they are currently busy manufacturing consent for military action against your city. It does not matter who committed the crime at all. They will use this as an excuse to increase the violence against us. If you are Black and you think this increasing of violence is going to be something new, I guarantee you it is not. Donald Trump was not the first person to mobilize the military against Black neighborhoods. And what he has done so far has been considered light in comparison to what other presidents have done. I want you to look up the I Am a Man March from 1968 in Memphis. Those roads are lined with National Guard troops with bayonets and tanks, like actual tanks, like Tiananmen Square. What I'm telling you is please, please be careful. Watch your neighbors' backs. I hope that I'm wrong, but I don't see any situation in which this does not make it worse for Black people everywhere.
Been reported that 2 members of the National Guard were shot outside of the White House today. We don't have a lot of details yet, so I'm not going to speak on that. But what we do know is that this never should have happened because the violence shouldn't have happened. We don't have a place for violence in our streets, but they never should have been there. It was not legal for the troops to be on the streets. And I'm a veteran. I have been marching up in Washington, D.C. about this because troops don't want to be there. It's negatively affecting their communities. It's negatively affecting their families, their careers. They took an oath to the Constitution not to be used as a political pawn. So they never should have been there. Picking up trash to what? Be a presence for someone that has a fetish with the military, even though he's never worn the uniform? The commander-in-chief decided that they were going to go and just be a show of force, be political pawns, be in our streets, and now 2 members have been shot because a man who doesn't understand the weight of having a soldier's life on his hands, a man who doesn't know what it feels like for a family to have their soldier leave, to have their lives disrupted, but just wants to play politics. So yeah, this never.
Reminder, as the spouse of an active duty service member, that anyone who uses the deaths of 2 National Guardsmen in DC today, anyone who uses the murder of 2 National Guardsmen in DC today as an opportunity to go after and attack their political opposition before we even know anything about the shooter or what their motivations were, is dishonoring those 2 guardsmen's memories, is dishonoring the grief of those 2 guardsmen's families who likely haven't even been notified yet that it was their loved one that's gone. And I know we're going to see a ton of that today from pundits on the news, from content creators online, and from politicians, all the way up to and including the President of the United States. It is guaranteed. I've already started seeing it. People are already weaponizing these 2 guardsmen's deaths, their murders. And if you find yourself feeling that impulse to do today, get off the fucking internet, because shame on you. 2 people are gone. 2 people were taken from their family less than 24 hours before Thanksgiving. Service members are more than just a narrative device for you to weaponize against your political enemies. And I recognize that it tends to be one side of the aisle that does this sort of weaponizing, but I'm just issuing this reminder across the board. Don't fucking do that. Not today.
I can't tell like what the reasoning behind this is, because on one hand you can make a compelling argument that this is a false flag. On the other hand, you can make the argument that people just don't want boots on the ground in their neighborhoods. But either way, it works in the favor of this administration and the greater empire, because now they have the consent to say, hey, look, Look what they're doing to our troops. We have to send more troops now. We have to make ourselves even more safe and secure. Just blasting people with manufactured chaos to be able to get away with things and justify it because of their own manufactured chaos. And no, I won't be surprised when our president inevitably makes a reactionary decision because of this news. Likely an executive order of some sort, or like I said before, troops on the ground. Oh yeah, and I also forgot the AI generated slop that's going to come from both sides of the aisle, both Democrats and Republicans, virtue signaling their sympathies for the people that have fallen. And
this just in, some updated information, and I definitely wanted to make sure that I came back and retracted that breaking news that was sent to me. Deputy Police Chief says 2 National Guardsmen are in critical condition in hospital. Jeffrey Carroll, the deputy chief at the Metropolitan Police Department, has told a press conference that the 2 National Guardsmen who were shot are in critical condition in a local hospital. He said that the suspect was also hospitalized. So that's what we know so far. FBI Director Kash Patel says the Bureau is actively involved in the investigation into the shooting that left 2 National Guard members seriously wounded near the White House. The FBI is engaged in assisting with the investigation in D.C. after National Guard members were shot this afternoon. Please pray for them, and we will update with more information as we are able. And also, the mayor confirms guardsmen are in the hospital right now and have been shot, but both are in critical condition as we literally, this is coming across my feed. So, okay, we're going to go ahead and continue to keep you guys updated throughout the night on any other information that we are provided about this particular shooting.
Breaking news coming out of Washington, D.C., where 2 National Guardsmen have been shot. Their conditions right now are unknown, but here's what I do know. Gunfire erupted in downtown Washington, D.C. today, with city police urging residents to stay clear of this critical incident, authorities said. Metropolitan Police officers rushed to the scene of a shooting at 17th and I Street, Northwest, according to a department statement. Please avoid the area, the agency added. Metro Transit police officers also responded to the scene, officials said. At least 1 suspect has been taken into custody, police said. The scene is secured, MPD said in a statement. 1 suspect is in custody. Department of Homeland Security Kristi Noem took to Twitter and she said, "Please join me in praying for the 2 National Guardsmen who were just shot moments ago in Washington, D.C. And Trump is at Mar-a-Lago for the Thanksgiving holiday and has been briefed on the shooting in Washington, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said. The White House is aware and actively monitoring this tragic situation. The president has been briefed, said Leavitt. That is all the updates I have now. I will be updating you as soon as new updates arrive.
Those 2 National Guard troops that were shot near the White House are confirmed dead. From the reports that I'm reading, it was a man and a woman guardsmen, and both of them were deployed there due to Donald Trump's deployment on Washington, D.C. Multiple news sources are coming out and stating that they are confirmed to be unalived. And according to reports, there are other injuries. 3 other civilians are currently being treated for bullet wounds. It is also my understanding that the shooter is in custody, yet he is in critical condition as well. I'm not sure how the perpetrator was injured, whether it was a self-inflicted injury or if he was injured by the Washington Police Department. So I don't know what's going on with that, but as soon as I know more, I will come back and report back to you guys. Please just keep your prayers going for the troops that were shot. No matter what the situation is, no one should be taking fire on our National Guard. This is absolutely disgusting.
By now, you've all heard about the 2 National Guardsmen that were ambushed earlier today in Washington, D.C. by this Afghani thug who just walked up to one, bang, point blank range, and then turned on the other one. They had seconds to improvise. They had seconds to react. One, I believe, did not make it. There are reports that they are in critical condition, but the governor of the state of West Virginia said that both did not make it. And now there are reports, I guess, that they are in critical, but I don't know. The guy was also in critical, but he's now answering questions, and it's wild. I can't believe this is happening. The seditious six got exactly what they wanted. The left got exactly what they wanted with their harmful rhetoric after all this time. You know, they said that Charlie was harmful, and that's what happened. They said that Trump was harmful, and he's doing all this stuff, and that the the FBI and the National Guard and ICE and all of these people that serve our country were harming Americans. And guess what happened? This happened. So I hope they're happy. Behind me, President Trump has just now issued a statement, and I want you to hear it and let me know what you think about it in the comments, because something has to be done.
Hey, fellow Americans. Earlier today, on the eve of the Thanksgiving holiday, 2 members of the National Guard serving in Washington, D.C. were shot at point-blank range in a monstrous ambush-style attack just steps away from the White House. They've been deputized as part of the most successful public safety and national security mission in the history of our nation's capital, the D.C. Safe and Beautiful Task Force, which has achieved an unprecedented reduction in violent crime and crimes of all type.
Yep.
This heinous assault was an act of evil, an act of hatred, and an act of terror.
Yep.
It was a crime against our entire nation. It was a crime against humanity. The hearts of all Americans tonight are with those 2 members of the West Virginia National Guard and their families. The love of our entire country is pouring out for them, and we are lifting them up in our prayers. As we are filled with anguish and grief for those who were shot, we're also filled with righteous anger and ferocious resolve. As President of the United States, I am determined to ensure that the animal who perpetrated this atrocity pays the steepest possible price.
Good.
I can report tonight that based on the best available information, the Department of Homeland Security is confident that the suspect in custody is a foreigner who entered our country from Afghanistan, a hellhole on earth. He was flown in by the Biden administration in September 2021 on those infamous flights that everybody was talking about. Nobody knew who was coming in. Nobody knew anything about it. His status was extended under legislation signed by President Biden, a disastrous president, the worst in the history of our country. This attack underscores the single greatest national security threat facing our nation. The last administration let in 20 million unknown and unvetted foreigners from all over the world, from places that you don't want to even know about. No country can tolerate such a risk to our very survival. An example is Minnesota, where hundreds of thousands of Somalians are ripping off our country and ripping apart that once great state. Billions of dollars are lost, and gangs of Somalians come from a country that doesn't even have a government, no laws, no water, no military, no nothing. As their representatives in our country preach to us about our Constitution and how our country is no good. We're not going to put up with these kind of assaults on law and order by people who shouldn't even be in our country. We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden, and we must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not belong here or add benefit to our country. If they can't love our country, we don't want them.
Exactly.
America will never bend and never yield in the face of terror. And at the same time, we will not be deterred from the mission these service members were so nobly fulfilling. That is why tonight I can announce that I have directed the Department of War to mobilize an additional 500 troops to help protect our capital city.
I heard that.
We will make America totally safe again. And we will bring the perpetrator of this barbaric attack to swift and certain justice if the bullets going in the opposite direction haven't already done that. During this time of the year, when we gather at home with loved ones, these 2 patriots were wearing the uniform of our country, patrolling the streets of our capital. They had taken a selfless oath to defend our nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that is exactly what they were doing when they were gunned down in a savage attack.
It's so
I
crazy.
want to express my extraordinary gratitude to every member of the United States military who is deployed tonight at home and abroad. I also want to thank the Secret Service and the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department for their work today. This Thanksgiving, I ask every family to say a prayer for the 2 great heroes who were so horribly shot, and for their loved ones. Please say a prayer. May God bless them, comfort them, and may God bless and protect the United States of America. Thank you, and good night.
Well, it's so crazy. I can't even believe that we are at this stage of our country to where we're dealing with this. And it all stems from these congressmen, these people in office, these people that are supposed to be elected to protect the United States, the American public. Instead, they are injecting rhetoric that is, this is the cause and effect. This is what happens whenever you say all of these things, you do all these things, you allow the media, you allow these people to have this rhetoric. You know, it's one thing if it's just a random citizen saying it, but do we actually think that the media should have total exemption where they can say these things, where they can inflame people in such a way to where now you have Afghan nationals of any sort that are not American or just regular people walking up to our police, our ICE, our FBI, our armed guard? You know, we have now, this has happened 57 times in 2025. It is the most that we've seen in recent years. And look why. It's because of all of the rhetoric. 57 times we have had shots fired against our police, and our protectors, the people that volunteer their lives every day. They get up every morning and they kiss their families goodbye, and they don't know if they're going to get home. They don't know, but they do it anyways. And 57 times people, because of their rhetoric, because of these Democrats' rhetoric, because of these media pundit rhetoric, have been shot upon 57 times, and 19 of those 57 times has resulted in someone not going home, that kissed family goodbye that morning and said, honey, I'll see you at 5. I'll see you when the shift is over. And they grabbed their badge, they grabbed their weapon, and they went bravely into the street to do their job that they swore an oath to protect the public. And it's because these people, I hope that this puts a fire under the Trump administration's butt to make an example of this seditious six, the people that are inflaming the public. This should not go on anymore. And I am upset about it. I saw it earlier. I've been watching it and been waiting to release any kind of a video or anything. And this seemed to be the perfect time because it's been so much information and yet so. I saw it was live coverage from CNN earlier, and they literally cut the coverage and then made the video private. What is that? You know, I saw another video that showed from a window, showed actually what happened right after all the shots were fired and all 3 victims, I said victims, the one guy is not a victim, he's a perp, and the other 2, which were our guardsmen, were down, and they had the perp in custody. And, you know, I just, my heart goes out to the families and to the other guardsmen who are having to put up with all of this nonsense. It's shouldn't happen. And anybody that supports, like I saw here in LA, they were throwing rocks at police officers whenever they were shutting down the 101. They were assaulting officers. They were assaulting ICE. I've seen so many people walking up to ICE officers and assaulting them. Like, what's wrong with you? What is actually wrong with you? They're doing their job. You know, like, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. All of you ought to be ashamed of yourself. I don't know the way forward. I really don't, you know. And maybe we are pushing towards more of a presence from our guard into these cities, and maybe that's the way to go. You know, I keep seeing reporters and people that live in DC that say that since they had the guard went in there, it is safer. Restaurants are thriving. People are walking around at night. They're not worried about, you know, getting mugged or getting offed, you know. And even Muriel Bowser said that the streets were safer because of it. She even conceded whenever she was just like Brandon, you know, or whatever her name is, looks like Beetlejuice, you know, like the other mayor of Chicago, you know. They're making it safe. They're making it unsafe for Americans. And Pritzker and all of them, I can't imagine this going well for you in any election. So hope Americans wake up. Hope they see what the Democrats are doing. I hope they see what all of their harmful rhetoric has been doing. And I don't say that often. I don't say it lightly because as y'all know me, I'm a free speech absolutist. But when it comes to this, when it comes to how cray everybody has become these days, when you have leaders that say this person is a fascist, this person is Schmittler, this person, and they say it and say it and say it and say it and say it. There's so many people that have too many birds in their antenna that are going to act out on that, especially because the people that are saying it are the ones who are supposed to be leaders, who are supposed to be trusted, who have been elected to go forward in front of the people and look out for them as their constituents. And so I think that this needs to be, they need to be really held accountable. And I don't know the way forward, but I know that what we're doing right now is not the way. So, but anyways, these are just my opinions, my thoughts. I want to hear your opinion. What do you think about this? This is disgusting to you. Do you like this? Is this great? Are we making the country great again? Are we not? Are we actually doing? Is this fascism to you? Are we fighting fascism? Is this no kings? Are you happy? You like this? Huh? Do you? No? Good. Because that means you're a real human being. That means that you have flesh and blood, and you realize that it's not about D's and R's. It's about good and evil. It's the way it's always been. I'm going to get off here before I say something I regret. So anyways, I love you guys. I'll see you later, and comment below, and I'll see you on the next video.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and I hope you guys have seen all of that clips that I have for you guys. Please, I just want to ask a very quick question. To send National Guard, cops, police, ICE, whatsoever you call them, to send them to a particular area, is it just for fun? Because I just want to know if it is for fun, because it's looking more like the main reason why these people are literally sent is for fun, and 2 people were pupiled out of them. I can't wrap my head towards the fact that someone's father, someone's husband was just sent to a place that nothing literally is happening. And boom, he never returned home. It's crazy. It's quite suspicious. But who are we? Who are we to judge the governors, the president? It's funny enough that some of the things that are even more trending are not even trending. Do not get me wrong. See, I have sympathy for the dead, right? Someone just lost somebody. But what they should really be dealing with, they are not. They are not. And it is so beautiful that this did not actually come from black folks. Because by now, black people's name will have been reading over and over again because they're looking for every slightest opportunity to push it down to black people. The person is in custody, but hopefully he will also be forgiven. Yeah. And the governor posted it as well, spreading the news of people you use your own hand to send. Magas, can't you see that there is nothing in this regime that is favoring you people? Can't you see that the people you voted for are the people doing this to you? Can't you see that you have finally chose wrongest, if there's any word like that? Hence, I love this wake up call that you guys are getting, honestly. Magas, I love it for you guys. I love the fact that the wake up call is so strong. I love it. Anyways, I don't have anything to say. Let me know what you think. Credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like this video, drop me a comment, and lastly, do not forget to share. And yes, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.